It's day three of the NFL draft, and the Chicago Bears have 3 picks on the board. Who are the best prospects on day three for the Chicago Bears? Well, we're going to discuss it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
We are about 2.5 hours away from day three of the NFL draft starting, and the Chicago Bears are on the board, and they pick early in the 4th round as well. And this is why we're here today, to discuss the best prospects for the Chicago Bears on day three. We pick at number 7 in the 4th round, number 10 in the 5th round, and number 17th in the seventh round. So the Bears have 3 picks that they can make today, and still players that definitely help the Chicago Bears at specific positions. Right, we're going to start off with the best day 3 running back prospects for the Chicago Bears. And I know my boy Steve-O's not here. He's gonna want me to mention Cam Skattebo here for the Chicago Bears. And I want to be clear here. Skattebo is definitely a prospect, and one that the Bears definitely could take a look at. He's not one of my favorite prospects in this draft, but when you look at it, he could offer one of the best, as far as the values that's there right now at the running back position. He's a dual threat running back. I have my doubts about how effective he can be at the NFL level. No doubt about it, he put up big stats as in college, right? There's no doubt about that. 1,700 yards last year, 21 touchdowns. He also had 605 yards in the passing game as well. That dual threat nature that Ben Johnson likes. But Cam Skattebo he doesn't have the athleticism. He's not really the pass blocker, for me personally, but I do know that there are a lot of people who are fans of Skattebo potentially being here for the Chicago Bears, and we'll see what happens there, right? I'm not going to knock him if the Bears do draft him again, as I've done throughout this draft process. If that's who they pick, then I'm gonna wait and see it out, and we'll see what he can end up bringing. But we'll see what Cam Skattebo, if he's on the board there. But one of the guys that's at the top, and one of the guys that the Bears did bring in for a top 30 visit, is Brashard Smith out of SMU. This is a guy who really came on the scene last year. He played 3 years in Miami prior to that, but he didn't really get anything. You look at his 3 years in Miami prior to him going to SMU, he had a total of 18 carries over 3 years. 18 carries over 3 years. Now, at SMU, he had more of an opportunity. 235 carries last year for 1,332 yards. He also had 14 touchdowns when it came down to that, an average of 5.7 yards per carry. Then you also look at him in the passing game. He caught 39 receptions last year for 327 yards. That's an average of 8.4 and 4 touchdowns there as well. With Brashard Smith being somebody that the Bears brought in for a top 30 visit, it does kind of point more towards the interest being there. Now, the question is where do they have him slotted at, right? He's 5'10", 196 pounds. He's going to probably have to put on some weight if he really wants to be, effective at the NFL level, and we'll see if he can do that. But overall, I have my questions and my doubts about Brashard Smith. But hey, as I've said with many of these prospects, if that's where the Bears go, it's probably going to be due to them putting in the work and really evaluating the talent there, right? So with the Bears not going running back earlier in this draft, like I thought a lot of people thought that they would, we'll see what Brashard Smith brings here. I think he could be a very interesting long-term prospect for the Bears. He's just not the kind of guy that, coming into this draft process, a lot of us thought the Bears were going to get a guy who could start and contribute right away. And is Brashard Smith that? That remains to be seen. But, Brashard Smith is definitely somebody who could be a target here for the Chicago Bears. Another guy is Dylan Sampson, the junior out of Tennessee. 5'11", 201 pounds. Last year, 1,491 yards on the ground with 58 carries. That's an average of 5.8 yards per carry. And much like Brashard Smith, yeah, he's decent as well also in the passing game. Now, he only had 20 receptions last year, 143 yards, but you can see that ability being there for Dylan Sampson if that's the route that they decide to go at the running back position. I like him, right? I like him when it comes down to it. But overall, I'll say this. Dylan is a guy that, to me, it's still an upwards pick, right? And he's still decent. And we've drafted players in round 4 before they've turned into starting level running backs. So that possibility is there for Dylan Sampson. So I don't mean to crap on him or Brashard Smith, but I think overall, like, you're looking at guys that can really, especially Brashard Smith, in a era where you're trying to find more positional versatility, right, with guys, and I think that's important under Ben Johnson's system. I think that, those two guys are really solid running back prospects for the Chicago Bears. Not great, not perfect, right? Not what we maybe expected, but they could be what we need. And we'll see if that comes down to it for the Chicago Bears. Next up, let's switch gears and go to safety. Malachi Moore out of Alabama is a really good safety prospect here for the Chicago Bears. I still think the Bears do need, a prospect here with Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker being in the last years of their deal. Jaquan Brisker having the injury history that he has here. Malachi Moore is 6 foot, 201 pounds, right? You look at this guy last year in college, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions. He had 70 total tackles as well in that time. This is a guy who had 8 passes deflected also. He is a guy that can play inside and outside the box, which is important in Dennis Allen's scheme with the way that he likes to move defensive backs around. Malachi Moore is a really solid prospect here by the Bears. Not my favorite. The next guy we're going to talk about is my favorite safety prospect for the Chicago Bears. The next 2 guys are really kind of my favorite 2 guys on day 3 for the Bears. But Malachi Moore is definitely a guy that I could see the Bears going after. He has the size. He has that potential ball hawk ability. He's solid in man, better in coverage. So I like Malachi Moore there and what he brings as a defensive back for the Chicago Bears. I really like him when it comes down to it. The next one is Billy Bowman Jr. You guys know when we had our first mocks, this was a guy that was on my board that I thought could even be there potentially in round 5. Now that the Bears pick in round 4, Billy Bowman Jr. brings just about everything you want at a safety position. 5'10", 200 pounds, right? 2 interceptions, 3 passes deflected. He does not miss tackles. This guy is one of the most violent hitters I've seen at a safety position in a really long time, and I think he has that prospect to really be that really nice prospect there for the Chicago Bears. 55 total tackles, 34 solo tackles in that as well. And this guy is he's a monster, man. I'm telling you. When you look at somebody who can either potentially play with Jaquan Brisker going into the future or, God forbid, right, that he doesn't get a contract extension with the Bears, Billy Bowman Jr. definitely has starter level upside in the NFL. I really like him. I'm honestly surprised he's kind of here, but the projections are always going to be that. But he's definitely an option here on day 3 for the Chicago Bears, and I think the Bears could come knocking for Billy Bowman Jr. And then the last guy, linebacker. We still have not addressed the linebacker position in this draft, and Denny Stutzman. For those who've been watching, I know Chris Paul Jr. is on a lot of Bears fans' minds, and he could be a great prospect here for the Bears. Make no mistake about it. But Denny Stutzman, keep that name in mind. He doesn't have the best speed, right? But he's a smart football player. He hits hard. He's able to be used in both pass coverage and getting into the passer as well in penetration there. And especially with having a guy like Tremaine Edmonds who could be cut next year, I think it's important to bring in another linebacker to kind of see what you can develop. Noah Sewell hasn't really shown you much. The Bears are going to run a lot of 2 linebacker sets, right? We're going to run a lot of DBs out there. So it's not necessarily a big need for us to have a 3rd linebacker, specifically under the way that Dennis Allen runs his scheme. But make no mistake about it. Denny Stutzman is a guy that I absolutely love in this draft. I love Denny Stutzman. I think he's such a good prospect in this draft. I think he's one of those guys that has that mentality, that edge that you've come to expect from Chicago Bears linebackers. Denny Stutzman brings all of that here for the Chicago Bears. I love him. I think that the Bears could probably get him. I've seen him in some mocks go as low as round 5. And if the Bears can get that, that's tremendous value there in that round if the Bears are able to pull that off. So again, not necessarily predicting it. If they pick Chris Paul Jr., he's the better prospect, as far as what most draft experts would tell you. So I wouldn't be mad at them picking up a Chris Paul Jr. But to me, Denny Stutzman, he feels like a Chicago Bears linebacker. He feels like that. And if he could be there at pick 10 in the 5th round, I'm not mad at it at all. I love Stutzman. I think Stutzman is a really, really good prospect in this draft on day 3. And that's what day 3 is about, right? When you can find value in day 3, that's really what kind of takes you over the top, right? Pick rounds 1, 2, and 3. You better find value in that. When you start finding value in rounds 5, 6, 7, right? In day 3 overall in round 4, that's what really kind of solidifies that you're doing what you need to do. That's what kind of sets your team on a path of being able to replenish talent and stay atop of it. That's really good things when it comes down to it. So let's hope that the Bears can find value. And that's what it's about. Finding value here on day 3, whether it's depth, whether it's potential starters going forward into the future, whatever it is. If you can find value in guys who can get on the football field for you in day 3, that's really what you need to do. Crimson says, because Chicago Bears Central for some reason won't let us become members of the channel, go Bears and F the Packers. That's funny. We haven't set up memberships yet. So you know what it is? We may be overthinking it. We don't want to just create a membership and then have you guys pay for a membership if we're not giving something special to the members. So we've actually been discussing how we would launch like special members exclusive content. But that's the only reason we haven't launched members yet, is because we don't want to just have you guys pay for something and not get something special out of it for those that become members. So, like I said, we're probably overthinking it, but it's coming. It's coming. It's gonna come before the start of the preseason. We're working out the details there. Denny Stutzman's coming up probably. Listen, you heard me just talk about it. That's a guy I would love in a Bears uniform. Stutzman, I would absolutely love in a Bears uniform. What's going on, Crimson? Third Gen says FGB all day, every day. You know what it is. We need running back. Who's the best available? I think a lot of people would say that Scatterboo's probably the best available. But again, like I said, Brashard Smith, Dylan Sampson, those are guys that are definitely potentially on the board here for the Bears. What's good, fam? I'm hoping the Bears select Stutzman. Ever since Haize brought him up, I watch him and I think he could be a great fit. You know what? I love putting people. That's one of the best things about doing this job is I love to bring awareness, because I understand not everybody has a great opportunity and has all the time to watch a lot of college football, right? And I personally look at it as that's our job with doing this channel. That's our job with doing this. It's to bring guys to you so you can think outside the box. I'm not mad at people who only go off the names, but it's not always the big names. It's not always the people that the media talk about who may be best for your team. And so I really feel like that is part of our job here, is to bring in and push forward some of those guys that, other people don't really talk about. What up, Haize? FGB? Absolutely, Miles. We need running back. Listen, I think we'll be okay at running back if we don't get one. I really do. Because keep in mind, here, now on day 3, there's no guarantee that who we draft on day 3 is going to play above Swift or even Roschon Johnson if he can keep his ass healthy. Now, you would hope that that's going to be the case. And, if the Bears find that value, great. But it's not like a surefire thing. Like Travion Henderson, Quashon Judkins would have automatically come in and made an impact. I think even Caleb Johnson, even though I wasn't as high on him, would be a guy that come in and take some snaps there. On day 3, you're not necessarily guaranteed that, but let's see what the Bears can do. I hope they can find whatever value they need. I hope they can find it there. What do you think about Jack Sawyer? Is he worth picking up at this point? Absolutely. Absolutely. Jack Sawyer is definitely, and I don't know what K2 Clips was tripping. He said we should have drafted Jack Sawyer at number 10. He was smoking that K2 in that case, but Jack Sawyer is definitely somebody that's also worth a look here on day 3 for sure. Brother Haize, good morning. Let's get a running back today. Let's get the best player available. I'm not focused on a specific position on day 3. I'm focused on who are the players that you see that have a legitimate chance to crack your rotation. That's what I care about. Now, if that's a running back, great, right? But I'm all about finding that, because if you can find players that can even be high-level role players for you on day 3, that's great use of day 3, in my opinion. Grateful morning, family. Running back taken in the 4th indicates that they see Swift higher than most. We kind of said that. Bobby said it. I said it. Haize, Cam just truck shit, LOL, and I'm here for the violence, bro. Oh, listen, love it. But I'm talking about, if you're talking about an every down running back, that's definitely not Scatterboo. Brashard Smith runs a 4.39, very elusive, and was a wide receiver before converting to running back. That's a great point. Crimson was too busy being in the Windy City Breeze chat. He didn't care about us yesterday. I saw him in there. Listen, he's treating us like the side chick. He's still family, but he's treating us like the side chick. What up, Haize? Haven't been able to watch the draft due to being in the military overseas. I appreciate all the coverage you have done. Hey, bro, I appreciate that. Matter of fact, if you want to see the draft coverage, go over on our playback You can search Chi-Town Sports Central over on Playback. I'll probably be streaming the actual draft on today. It's day 3. We streamed day 1 there, not day 2, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I like Stutzman. A lot of people like Stutzman. I really do like Stutzman. What, my guy, you're giving us one of the best Bears podcasts on this platform, I'm sure. I'm not the only one that wants to support that. I appreciate that, man. I never want to be in this thing where I'm like, we take more than what we give out, right? Like, that's important to me. We'll see. We'll see. Haize, what do you think about Sanders not getting drafted? Listen, I wasn't high on Shedeur Sanders at all. People were here in the live stream before, like even last year. Like there were some people last year that were like, the Bears don't have to draft a quarterback. We can wait. Shedeur's coming in 2025. And I was like, hey, I don't see it for Shedeur. Now, I can even admit, keep in mind, I am not a Shedeur Sanders guy. I think he's cool, right? But this is a travesty. What we're seeing here is a travesty. Some of the quarterbacks that we're taking before Shedeur Sanders is just bananas, bro. It's bananas. I think we're getting Brashard Smith. That's a pretty good. I really think that's a pretty good a pick there. I think with the Bears bringing him in, I think that's a pretty good observation there. Sophisticated Thought says, "What's good, my brother? Thanks for all your hard work, bro. Exactly how many picks do the Bears have left in the draft? 3. We 4, 5, and round 7. That's where we pick at. The pass blocking of Trapillo is supposed to be good like that in a pinch. Listen, Trapillo has tremendous upside. Really good run blocker, really functional pass blocker as well with major upside. So we'll see what happens there. Worst draft. That's Eco. You're just wrong. I'm sorry. You're just wrong. This reminds me of a lot of people were down on Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker when we picked them instead of George Pickens, and I can't remember who else they wanted to be picked there. These are really good picks, especially under Ben Johnson's offense. These are really good picks, and I think a lot of these guys are going to surprise you. Well, call it the fuck out, XD. It's okay. There's plenty of me to go around. Nah, motherfucker. Nah. See, Crimson don't realize me and Pat the designer, me and Pat talk every single day. Every day, me and Pat talk. So, listen, I be knowing shit. I be knowing shit. Ricardo, I agree. I love what they're doing here. Listen, they're doing some really good work here. Really good work. Do you really want me to go Petty Roosevelt? See, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to lure out Petty Roosevelt today. I'm just going to put you in timeout, and I'm just going to say this, right? Bears Junkie. The reason you're called Bears Junkie is because your mama was a junkie because she was sucking dick for pennies. Like, literally. She had to suck dick to be able to get you ramen noodles to eat as a kid. Can you imagine sucking dick for ramen? That's what your mama did to get you on to be able to bring you into this world. On top of that, let's not even talk about the fact that you were one of the biggest subscribers to Foot Finder, right? Like, you ain't out here paying for feet, bro. Foot digits. That's what you out here paying for. Don't worry about the draft. We'll talk football. You go worry about getting your mama rehab for sucking dick for ramen. That's what you need to do. All right? Don't come in here with that bullshit. The reason why you talk about suck is because your mama, that's the only thing you're good at. We called your mommy Sucky Susan because that's all your mama had to do. That's all skill she had to do was suck. That's it. That's it. She couldn't even take back shots. She just sucked. That's it. That's all she did. Don't get it's 8:47 in the morning and y'all getting Petty Roosevelt out early. Chill. Give me Cam Scatterboo easy in the 4th. I'll take Dylan Sampson and Brashard over him personally. That's just my personal opinion. But we'll see what happens here and we'll see what they got in store for us, man. What time does the draft start today? Oh, and Bears down and FGB. He said, bro, thank God that's not accurate. I would have been so shocked if that was actually you. Thank God that wasn't you. That's funny. First of all, spell like a fucking human, you dumbass. What do you get out of using the same exact number of characters but not being able to spell like a functional adult? Like, that's not a flex, bro. You look like a fucking idiot out here spelling like you fucking throwing gang signs up in a YouTube chat. Shut the fuck up. You're just dumb, bro. You're just dumb. It's bad enough you look like you need a sandwich. You out here trying to play Ali G fucking cosplay in your Avi pick. Shut the fuck up. Just chill out. Chill out. But all right, y'all. I appreciate you guys so much, man. We will be back live, especially since the Bears do draft early. We will be back live, man. He said didn't even confirm it, just went in. Hey, listen, it was confirmed when I saw that. I was just going off of what the chat I saw. It, it is what it is there. But I love you guys, man. Bear down. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'll see y'all live at the draft. Peace, y'all.